listening to the Multifamily Podcast, brought to you by Ron Ruiz and Martin Conchola, co-founders of ApartmentSEO, a premier Google agency, where we discuss current multifamily and real estate trends, apartment marketing strategies, and speak with some of the most influential thought leaders shaping the multifamily industry today.
Welcome to the Multifamily Podcast, powered by ApartmentSEO.com. I'm Martin, joined by my co-host Ron, and today we are thrilled to explore an innovative and inspiring approach to senior living with our special guest, Leon Grunstein, founder and CEO, and Danielle Parker, COO of GenCare Lifestyle. GenCare is redefining senior living with their whole life living program, which integrates wellness, community, and purpose into every aspect of their residents' lives. Leon and Danielle, welcome to the Multifamily Podcast.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. We're so excited to have you both here. And I personally am looking forward to hearing more about GenCare and how it's leading the way to create vibrant and engaging communities for our aging population, our seniors.
Good morning, Ron and Martin. Thanks so much for having us on today.
Yeah,
we're really excited to be here.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for joining, for sure. We're excited for this conversation. So, Leon, your journey into senior living is quite unique. Coming from a real estate development background, can you tell us more about how that transition happened and what initially drew you into this field?
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. Many years ago, when I was doing more conventional real estate development and had a minor, focus on medical office buildings and healthcare, I got a contract to develop a hospital campus. And I was looking for uses on the campus other than medical office buildings. And in my research, I came across senior housing. This was way back in the late 1980s. And I saw the demographics and the information in my research about senior housing and the aging of America. And I said, well, this is an opportunity I want to investigate. So although I didn't put in a senior housing building on the hospital campus, I did find a site in the Seattle metropolitan area to build a retirement community. And it was the first one I had ever done. So I had to hire a management company to run the operations of the building, even though I developed and built it. So that's basically how I got in the industry. Developed two more buildings, so a total of three, and learned at the behest of the operator that we hired to run the three buildings, how to run the business and get more familiar with it. And that's how I got into the industry.
That's amazing. I definitely think that they're obviously good time, good place, good time, as they say, is it? Knowing that our population was going to increase with our boomer generation. So great foresight there. Obviously, GenCare Lifestyle is based on the concept of whole life living. I can't wait to hear more about this. But Danielle, can you break down what it actually means? What does whole life living mean? And really, how is it different from traditional senior housing models?
Oh, I would love to. So whole life living is really at the center and the heart of everything that GenCare does. It's where we're taking a holistic approach to active adult and senior care and really looking at the whole person, mind, body, and spirit. And it's different from traditional senior housing models or senior living models because we're taking a preventative and proactive approach to wellness versus a reactive approach to maybe challenging needs or crisis situations, and making residents' lives healthier and happier longer.
That's exactly it. Yeah, we're living longer these days, right?
That's right.
We got to make it good quality of life. My aunt calls it super aging. So we all want to be a super ager, right?
Absolutely. We say it's not about the adding, years to someone's life. It's more about adding life to their years and really embracing the whole person.
I like that.
Yeah, that is awesome. You guys got any pickleball courts going on at any of these GenCare facilities?
We do.
Yeah, actually, we do. We have a pickleball court in one of our buildings in Seattle because the weather is kind of dicey a lot of the year. You
Yeah.
can't do it outdoors all the time. So we converted a space in one of our buildings that was a theater, which wasn't being used very much, into a sport court, which, among other things, you can play pickleball on.
Yeah, that's
So
the ticket right there.
yeah, so we're on it.
Yeah, I love it because we have a lot of our friends, a lot of the team members here at Apartment SEO are very into pickleball. And, when I got in touch with that community, it's old, young, big, small, it doesn't matter. They're all shapes and sizes when you're playing pickleball.
Age groups, yeah.
All right, so you structured GenCare around the 4 wellness pillars: eat better, feel better, think better, and live better. How did you develop these pillars, and why are they central to the GenCare experience?
Well, in our philosophy of live longer, better, um, when I was developing the concept, it's first food. We know that food is the fuel that drives the engine. So if we're eating healthy food with not a lot of preservatives and sugar and junk in it, you're going to, your heart's going to work better. You're not going to have, carbohydrate rushes and crashes through the sugar conversion. You're going to be able to manage diabetes. You're going to be able to manage your weight. You're going to be able to sleep better, and you'll feel better just because you have better fuel and your heart's going to work better. And so that was the first concept. And the second pillar was exercise. If you're eating better, you got more energy and you got good fuel in your engine, you're going to want to exercise in order to keep your body strong. And so we all know that exercise is once again managed as weight, can manage diabetes, helps combat cancer. You're going to sleep better. You're going to be stronger and be able to do stuff longer. Your heart's going to once again work better, and you're going to get you're going to feel a lot better. And because you're getting more blood circulating throughout your body and your brain, you're going to be able to think better. And when you think better, you can do activities that give you satisfaction in doing some work or play, and you're able to engage much better with your community and in your life. And then finally, if you're thinking better because you're eating well and exercising, doesn't matter what age you are, the fourth pillar is purpose. And we all want some purpose in our life. So we have a lot of purpose-based activities which center around maybe intergenerational work, community work. We have one group that's doing a project in our building, refinishing some outdoor furniture that we have. The men's group just decided to do it. We worked with the Jamie Moyer Foundation, who was a retired major league pitcher who's threw for the Seattle Mariners, and he had a youth foundation for kids who's lost a parent or loved one. So our residents did journals or made teddy bears or security blankets to give to the kids who had lost a loved one. And that's just a couple of examples of what they do for purpose.
Love that.
So that, in summary, is you eat better, you exercise, because you're eating better, you have more energy. Because you have more energy, because you're working out and eating better, you're thinking better. And then because you're thinking better, the last pillar is you still want purpose in your life. And we provide that in our programming.
That is huge, definitely. My parents are now visiting the local senior center, and I love hearing their stories. And I really see that element that they need to, because I believe that they try to live better, think better, all the eat better for sure. But that social element. So I'm parlaying into my next question, which is social connections, right? I mean, obviously, if everyone was living by those great principles, I think they'd be a better human to be able to be social and be amongst people they want to be, and not, be frustrated or angry or lonely. So social connections are obviously key part of what GenCare is trying to do here. And Danielle, I really want to know if you could share some specific ways how GenCare fosters those social interactions, like bring the people out and having a sense of belonging among the residents.
I think we're social creatures. We
Right.
need to be around people, and we want to be around people that we like and share similar interests. And I think building on the facets, like Leon mentioned, it's really about first listening to what your residents want. We have our founding principles. We have our 4 facets, which are truly, at the center of everything we do, and help us thoughtfully design our programs and our offerings for our residents. But it's also finding out what makes this group tick. Every community is in a different neighborhood in the Pacific Northwest here, and they have different likes and interests and hobbies. And so it's listening to the residents and as their needs change and their desires change, and creating programs that hit the physical, emotional, psychosocial aspects of whole life living, but then offer them tailored programming in their community. So we have a lot of resident-led programs, special interest clubs that are resident-led. Yesterday, in fact, it's Thanksgiving time, and we had a beautiful Thanksgiving dinner for the residents and their families at one of our communities on Wednesday night. And yesterday, the residents took leftover turkey, made turkey sandwiches, and created GenCare Cares bags for the homeless population in one of their communities, and went out and donated those on our bus. And the community team helps facilitate those opportunities for them to connect and engage in activities that they want to be a part of, because that's really what this is finding out what interests them, and what do they want to participate in, and then we try to make that happen.
That's huge. I love that you guys have the resident led as well. It's not just programs that they have to because I'm sure there's opinions around that, right? You can't make everyone happy.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Not everyone loves the food all the time, but we promise the food to be nourishing and healthy, and a little bit of something for everyone.
That's awesome.
We kind of say you never liked what your mom made you all the time. Most of the time you liked it, and maybe you didn't like meatloaf, but that's what you had to eat that day. So
that was it.
I love me some.
And back then, you eat what mama makes.
That's it. That's it. But just anecdotally, we know that human beings live better and longer and more mentally fit if you're in a social environment.
Yes.
Like Daniel said, humans are social animals, and we live better when we're interacting with other people. So we encourage people not to stay at home alone and isolated. It's better if you move into a community. You can go to your apartment and be alone if you want, but if you have that interaction ready at your fingertips to meet people, talk to people, make friends, you're happier.
The other element I see at play too with my parents is that my dad is social. He golfs multiple times a week with friends, guys. Individually, they do things, but together, this is something they're doing together. But what I found was I think they feel younger because they're amongst, they're a similar population, and realize hey, yeah, I maybe had that backache this morning, but I'm walking, I'm not, having to sit down, or I don't know. I just feel like they're getting this new sense of purpose. And I like that element of the social interaction, they're getting.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with using your dad as an example.
Yeah. Yep.
And they're very active still.
They are.
Yeah, that's great.
And they want to keep it that way. They don't need to think that they're old, quote unquote.
Yeah. Well, one thing we also do is we have our staff. One of the requirements is our staff have to participate in an activity with the residents. We don't really care what it is, but if they're playing cards, or they're playing pickleball, or they're attending a lecture, it does a couple things. One, it creates a better bond between the staff and the resident. And the residents actually like it, and they participate more when they see the staff involved, because most of the staff are younger, more energetic, and because they're younger, and the residents feel that, hey, if these young guys can do it and women can do it, so can I. So I guess I've still got some juice.
That's it.
And they teach each other new things, both generations. They share experiences and teach each other things across the age spectrum, which is really neat to watch.
Oh man, that's really powerful.
Yeah.
My dad at first didn't see the opportunities there. He gets there, and I guess their story was he taught this older gentleman how to play pool. who was a different nationality, and he's like, in my country, we don't play pool. What is this? So my dad taught him, and so my mom. The story we heard at family dinner was, see how we could still teach somebody at our age something that we wouldn't even think was. My dad used to be a pool shark back in the day, like he was amazing, and he kind of got back into it. And they don't have a pool table at home, but they were able to do it. So that sense of purpose is like twofold, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still, no matter how old you are, you still want to feel you have value.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Because you do.
you do.
Exactly. Yeah.
We can learn a lot.
So, how do you ensure GenCare's wellness programs remain accessible to all residents, regardless of their physical capabilities or health challenges overall?
Well, we have a full-time activity director and a full-time vitality directors, and trainers. We get to know the residents really well. It doesn't matter whether you're in a wheelchair or a walker, or you're fully ambulatory. We try and devise activities, both physical and mental and social, that meet the desires of the resident. We found, and we track what every resident does every month, every day. So we know how much they participate per week, per month, per year. And we found that about, 85 to 90% of the residents participate in something, whether it's one thing or multiple things. And then there seems to be about 10% who we can't get to participate in anything. But the goal is to get as many people active and doing stuff as we can. And that's a function of getting to know their likes and dislikes and their capabilities. And we tailor make some activities, particularly in the gym, depending on what they can and cannot do. Some cases we've improved people's ability to walk. They come in a wheelchair and they graduate to a walker, or they come into the building with a walker and they graduate to a cane or no appliances. We just adapt to what their needs are. And some people, like you said, teach us how to play a new game and engage other residents to do it, because we found out that they like to play bridge, and suddenly you have a bridge group develop because there's other people who knew how to play it or they want to learn how. And so it's just kind of going with the flow of the population in that building and what they're predisposed to do. And what we also found, it seems like every 5 years, there's a generational switch in what our residents like to do or not do. So we have to be nimble and adapt to the proclivities and desires of this new 5-year cohort that comes to the buildings.
I think also, sort of expanding on Leon's, when he mentioned our fitness trainers. So they're certified personal trainers, and they have a specialty in active adult, exercise science, exercise medicine, food and nutrition, and also geriatric wellness and exercise. So they gather baseline fitness assessments of most of our residents when they move in. Of course, they have to opt in and want to participate in this, and many do. And they'll gather those fitness assessments so that we can tailor make wellness programs specific to the individual resident, whether it's in a group class and maybe they need a seated exercise, or it's personal training and they need help with passive range of motion. We thoughtfully design and curate that program for the specific resident. And then as they get stronger or more capable, or their needs change, then we can reassess and we get new data and new baseline kind of fitness data on them, and then continue to tailor that wellness program. And that's how we start to capture those success stories that Leon mentioned, where someone is now walking that maybe wasn't when they moved in. We have residents who have come in as diabetics and they're no longer diabetic because of our programming. So it's very neat, a neat custom approach to wellness programming that meets everyone where they are, regardless of where that is.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know that with your background, that's amazing that you were able to do that. Did you guys come in knowing that you wanted to have that as a focus, or was it just an evolution of GenCare?
Leon is he's our athlete. He's our Hall of Famer. He ran track and played baseball for many years. He's our fitness enthusiast, and
Yeah.
he lives and breathes active lifestyle, and he models it for all of us. And it's
Gets you
very
moving.
much very much chopped down. And so I think Leon's always known it, and you can't help but realize how important an active lifestyle is when you are next to Leon.
Absolutely. We all need that contagious energy. That's my brother
Right.
for me.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, what role do nutrition and dining experiences play within whole life living? And Danielle, what approach does GenCare take to make the meals both obviously nutritious and enjoyable? I know we talked about that a little bit. Not everyone is happy.
Yeah, so it's our eat better facet, right? So food is fuel. Dining is critical. There's the social aspect of dining, and then there's of course
Yeah.
the nutritional aspect of dining. And so we're very proud of our dining program because it's the first facet in the philosophy. We're the only senior housing community in the nation that's certified gluten free through the gluten intolerance group. We have vegan and vegetarian offerings. We have cultural offerings, kosher, halal. We're very unique in the way we create our menus and make sure that our food is nourishing, but also appetizing and looks delicious on the plate, to meet the residents' dietary needs.
That's a tall order.
It is.
I mean, no pun intended, right?
It is. You can't, it's hard. If you were to eat in the same restaurant
Yeah.
every single day, 365 days a year, you might get tired of it. But
Yeah.
overall, our residents really love the food, and we get great feedback from the residents during chef chats, and they tell us how wonderful the food is. And, it's not laden with empty calories,
Yes.
salt, sugar. It's really nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. The other thing is, I mean, kudos to even having case studies or success stories where people are no longer diabetic. That's huge.
Mhm.
I mean, even my generation, we're like, leaning in that, and our doctors are all, from a lot of my friends I talk to, they're like, you need to watch what you're doing now,
Yeah.
so that when we're older. So the fact that you guys are doing that when people are used to their lifestyle, used to their eating choices,
Yep. Yeah. If you visit our YouTube, the GenCare Lifestyle YouTube, you'll hear Lynn's story, and she tells you about how she's no longer diabetic, and it's one of our proud testimonials that we're very proud.
That should be, yeah. And people should want to be more like, you said Lynn, was it?
Lynn. Mhm.
Yeah.
Her name is Lynn. She's living at the lodge at Eagle Ridge in Renton.
Love it. Yeah.
I mean, it just
That's
goes
a
to
great-
show
Just
that diabetes.
anecdotally, again, we limit. We're very aware of sugar and how bad sugar is. It causes
Yeah.
inflammation. Also, is bad for your health because you're more apt to get cancer if you have a high sugar diet.
Yep.
So we limit the amount of sugar. You also avoid sugar crashes, highs and lows.
Mhm.
And clearly it's a issue for diabetics, or you become diabetic because you eat too much sugar. So we're very aware of sugar in our menus and diets that we present to our residents.
Yeah, and I mean, in my household, I'm always like, if it's not in the house, I won't seek it out, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not providing it, then maybe that's what's pushing people to like, okay, I'm not going to go out of my way to go get it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I don't buy donuts anymore because otherwise I'll eat them. So.
And we miss them, but yeah, all good.
That's funny. All right. So over the past 5 years, you've seen an increase in residents' length of stay overall. Leon, what do you think has contributed most to this loyalty, and what feedback have residents shared with you about their experience overall?
Well, I think it's not just loyalty. I think it's the quality of life that we provide them.
Mhm.
And they know they're moving into our communities, or they don't realize it sometimes. But the four facets help them live longer. Food, exercise, purpose, socialization. We have happy residents. We survey them often, and that was one of the goals of the of the whole life living is to live longer and better. And so when they move into our communities, our initial goal was to make them happier, and we know happier people and healthier people live longer. And it seemed to play out. I had to when I originally developed this concept, after I left as a founder and a partner and retired from Merrill Gardens, I started GenCare, but I got a chance to sit back for a while because I got a divorce and I was putting my life back together. What I would want as an ideal living situation for seniors. And I thought back to my days as a camper, when I was 10, 11, 12 years old. I didn't have to work. I got to hang around with my buddies all day. And what did we do? We ate in the dining room in the social environment at the camp. Then we went out and, we played. We had activities programmed for us. We were stimulated either through sports or, camping or doing a science, an archaeological trip or that the camp provided for us. And we had a great time every day. And we had a certain amount of time, what we called free play time, where we got to do whatever we wanted to do. So I said, just because you're older, you're retired, you're basically back to what you were when you were a kid going to camp. So let's make it fun and have a lifestyle like you were when you were younger. You still like to do the same stuff. Essentially, is do what you like, hang with other people, do interesting things, and have some fun.
I love that mentality.
That's huge. I mean, in some ways it's that simple, right? And in other regards, I know like that population too, at this point, they worked hard, they've done a lot for their lives. And the other part of that, when you're in camp as a youngster, things are done for you. So I think the seniors are no different at their age group. They're like, okay, if it's managed for me, I will show up. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want to put that. I'm not speaking for everyone, but I'm sure that at this point they're like, we don't need to put all the work and coordinate the parties and the events and if somebody does it for us, we'll be there, and they thrive in that environment, just like
Yeah, they do.
Mhm. That's amazing. I literally have goosebumps talking about this because I think it serves a purpose. I think you certainly need to be in so many other markets. I hope you do. But looking ahead, I want to hear a little bit. This last question, I believe, is how do you envision the future for senior living? And also, like any new ideas or developments that we can expect to come from you guys. Speaking of world domination for
Well, in general, I think the industry is still evolving. Like I said earlier, every 5 years there seems to be a new expectation of people, elderly, who hit the market. And as an industry, we have to be nimble in order to adapt to these needs, either in providing them in the physical plant or the programming. So, to give you a prediction of what the people who are going to be looking at senior housing as residents in 10 years, can't totally say. You have to look at the Gen X or Gen Y and see how they evolve and how they're going to translate into things when they're elderly. And certainly technology is going to play a big part in what you provide in your communities for support. So artificial intelligence is the big buzzword today, and how we adapt that to senior housing is going to be, it's being adapted for data collection and certainly analysis of what to do. But as far as what residents are going to want to do with it, that remains to be seen. I think as years go on, senior housing is becoming much more sophisticated, and people are accepting it, both loved ones and potential residents, as a serious option to living, and better than staying at home, sitting with a caregiver, sitting in front of a TV, and being served a meal all day, and that's your life. This gives you a more well-rounded and robust experience at this, stage of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think personalization is key. I think expanding upon inclusivity and diversity and ensuring that we're reflective of the world that we live in, that we are building and developing sustainable communities is critical, environmental friendly communities, whether it's energy efficient building design or it is curating, local produce and local, resources. Is very, I believe the population will expect that, and that's something that we are committed to delivering on.
Yeah, that's
Do you guys do any kind of GenCare in like farming or like little garden or anything like that for them?
We have gardens. We do. We have gardens in most of our communities. Some of them more urban. The space is tight, but we still have our raised planter beds. But we do. Residents garden. They grow vegetables, herbs that we can use in our kitchens.
Yes.
And yeah, they're definitely a part of that process. And then we also partner with farms that are here in the local Pacific Northwest. And so we'll have our culinary teams visit the farms and see where the food is made or harvested, and really try to connect with the local sources.
Yeah, and a little farm to table experience too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Exactly.
Beautiful. So Ron, any final comments before we get ready to wrap this up?
No, I just want to say thank you guys. I've learned a lot about your company and your mission and the whole life living concept. I think it's amazing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for having us. And we're excited about our programming and all our staff. I got to say, people who work for GenCare are very excited about our programming, and a lot of people who work with us as our employees are here because they're committed to our lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about purpose. We need purpose at work too, and there's nothing better than working for a company that's as mission driven as we are.
Yes. So Leon and Danielle, thank you both so much for sharing your insights and passion for reimagining senior living. The whole life living concept, the care you put into every aspect of your communities is truly inspiring.
Well, thank you for having us. We enjoyed our time with you.
Yeah, thank you.
So for our listeners, make sure to learn more at gencarelifestyle.com and their transformative approach to senior living. Check out their communities and their whole life living program. Stay tuned for more inspiring episodes here on multifamilypodcast.com, powered by apartmentseo.com. Make sure to claim your free marketing analysis today. Until next time, keep innovating and building communities that make a difference. Bye, y'all.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to the Multifamily Podcast, brought to you by co-founders of Apartment SEO, a premier Google agency, with your hosts, Ron Ruiz and Martin Quinchola. Join us again next time as we continue to bring you the latest and greatest in the multifamily industry.